Hey guys, welcome back to MMA Library. In UFC news today, Charles Oliveira is rumored to be taking on Islam Makhachev for the vacant lightweight title at UFC 281 on October 22nd in Abu Dhabi. There have been talks recently as to who would get the shot at Oliveira for the title, and even Dana White said that's a fight he'd definitely like to see. We should be hearing something official here in the next month or so stay tuned for that. Recently, in an interview with ESPN, Amanda Nunes says she went into the Juliana Pena fight with 2 knee injuries. Both knees were pretty bad, and I wasn't able to recover. Every time that I trained, I went back home, and the next day I couldn't even walk. I needed rest. I couldn't turn or do all the things that I have to do, like jiu-jitsu, wrestling. Pretty much I was only doing hands like striking or whatever I was going to do for conditioning. I only used my arms, so that cost me my belt. Juliana replied shortly after and said, "I've had 2 knee surgeries, one on each knee, and I've never used me getting choked unconscious like, oh, it was because of my knees, you know what I mean? So you gotta say whatever you can to motivate yourself and pump yourself up and to sleep at night, so that you can say, yes, it was my knees. And next time I'm gonna get it done. So you gotta say whatever you gotta say. And I understand that people are still counting me out. People are still doubting me. People are still saying it's a fluke, and she had a bad night, and this, that, and the other. They have every excuse in the book for why I won, and so my whole promise behind wanting to do the rematch was just that I'm here to stay. That this is my time in my era. The Amanda era is done. It's the Juliana Pena era now." Chael Sonnen recently said on his YouTube channel that fans are only tuning in to see Jon Jones at heavyweight because they want to see him get beat up. The former light heavyweight has been away from the octagon for a few years and is rumored to fight Stipe Miocic in his heavyweight debut. Chael gives his take on Jones in the heavier division and the real reason people are buying tickets to see a Jon Jones fight now.
Hey, John, what are you weighing? What are you weighing? Because this whole heavyweight thing, the whole heavyweight thing was only contingent on us, the audience, believing with some kind of reasonable hope that you're finally going to get your ass kicked. That's it. We don't need to see you at heavyweight. We don't need to see your fat ass out there. We want to see you get beat. That's it. And when you remove Francis from the bracket, when you put somebody in that we're not even sure is going to be bigger than Jon Jones, Jon could have his greatest weight advantage ever in his next heavyweight fight. Stipe is weighing 233 pounds. I get that my pen pal, Mrs. Miocic, shared with me that he put on 20 pounds. I get that, but until we see that on the scale, this entire experiment and plan with Jon just blows right up in our face in terms of marketing. But if we put him back at 205, everything's different.
There's an argument to be made that the only times Jones was truly tested was in his fights with Thiago Santos and Dominic Reyes, which were towards the end of his run at 205. It'll be interesting to see how Jones fares at heavyweight and if he'll be as dominant against significantly bigger fighters. Jorge Masvidal has called out Conor McGregor for a fight towards the end of the year. In a recent interview, Masvidal says he thinks McGregor would be an ideal matchup for his return fight, and he's eyeing the last 2 months of the year.
I would say I would love to. To be there in December. It's a strong possibility. November, December. Definitely gonna fight this year, no matter what. I don't want to talk too much about it, but as we know, I got some little problems and stuff that I got to deal with. But I'm gonna be in there. I'm in it to win it. I'm at the gym. I'm training. I'm working on new things. I'm working on old things. I'm just still in the gym cooking it up at American Top Team, which we got a lot of guys right now up in the gauntlet about to fight. It's a lot of guys I've been teammates of mine. I've been sparring with, working out with, that I'm very, very excited to see. I love my team. I love American Top Team. And that's what lets me know, like, yeah, I could still compete. Because look what these guys are out there going and doing, and these are the guys that I work with day to day. We got Johnny Eblen fighting for a world title in Bellator now. We got Gamrot fighting another ATT guy that's another standout. And Armin, it's like, that's going to be a crazy freaking fight, man. We got my boy also, freaking 155er, Thiago. Oh, my gosh, kid's another beat. I mean, we got some killers and a bunch of them at 155 now, which is nuts, So I'm just very pumped for the team, man, So meanwhile, until I get back to fighting, I'm going to live through them. But I think, November, December, it's looking good for me,
Who are we doing it with, man? Who are we dancing with?
Obviously, because before this guy, like, overdoses on fight never happens and I don't get to make all that easy money, I just want to break Conor's face. Just let's get that paycheck. Let's get that out of the way. Sell the most pay-per-views ever before this guy does like harm to himself or somebody else. And I just like, boom, get that check real quick because I got kids, right? I need money.
Check out the full interview over on Block Asset's YouTube channel. Isreal Adesanya recently spoke at the UFC press conference in Sydney and was asked about a trilogy fight with Robert Whitaker. He said he doesn't like reading the same book over and over. Let's check it out.
Apologies. I guess within a big Australian crowd here, what Bobby Knuckles would have to do to get a trilogy fight with you?
Said that? Oh, sorry. Right there. Oh, hey. We just talked before. Bobby, he's a great fighter. I'll give it to him. He's a great fighter, but I know how that book ends. I've read that book twice already. First time was a quick read. Second time a little bit longer. But, I mean, he's probably going to be at the top for a while. But if we fight again, I know how that book ends, you know. So that's why I'm excited about this next fight. You know, some new blood, someone I've never fought before. I told you if he wants to, you should go up to 205, see what that's about. Maybe try that for a little bit. But, yeah, I've read that book already, and I don't like reading the same book over and over again.
Daniel Cormier says that it would be a crime if Nate Diaz leaves the UFC and we never get to see the Conor McGregor trilogy fight.
For Diaz, I said it earlier with McGregor, and it's all the same reasons. I just think that it's time to put an end to their saga, right? I remember fight number 1 where Conor McGregor actually went in there with Nathan on very short notice and Diaz submitted him. Then McGregor made the adjustments in order to win fight 2. It's time for those guys to put a wrap on that trilogy, especially with some of the things that Diaz is saying here recently. UFC cut me. I don't want to be here anymore. Let me go do these other things. It would be a crime if Nathan Diaz left the UFC and him and Conor never truly put this thing to bed. I think that we have to have that fight, and I think it's the right fight for both of them with where they are in their career. Now, I think Conor should fight Nate Diaz. I think that is the fight in which they should wrap with. Conor versus Nate, get that third fight done. Neither one of them have to go all the way back down to 155. They can fight at 170 if they so choose. Nate wants to fight. Conor's getting healthy. I think that's the fight that makes sense for Conor McGregor. Who I believe Conor McGregor is going to fight, though, is Michael Chandler. Because I think that the call-out that Chandler gave in the middle of the octagon last time was enough to make Conor get on alert and say, I beat this guy, I'm right back in the title contention. Because that is one thing you could never question about McGregor. His title aspirations don't change. So even if he loses, he never comes back looking for the easy path. He always tries to find the hardest guy to put himself back right in contention to try and become champion again.
Well, you know what's crazy? Like the Nate Diaz point almost swayed me, right? Because I was like, Nate and Conor, they've had these epic battles. You know it's going to be pretty much stand up unless Nathan is the guy that takes it to the ground. And so I get that. But for me, I do want to see the Michael Chandler fight because the one thing that Chandler has shown us is that he's not afraid to stand in the middle of the cage and absolutely just throw those things. Like he's okay with having a striking match. We did see him take Tony down near the end of the first round because Tony was kind of getting with him. But Michael Chandler has been one of the most exciting fighters in his 4 fights in the UFC. And I believe that call out and understanding where he is in the weight class is what's going to intrigue Conor to know I can go have this fight. This is a dude that's been touched. I believe that if I touch him, he's not getting back up. And so I think he's going to be easily swayed into that fight as well. So I think that it's going to be the Conor McGregor-Michael Chandler matchup that we see. And I believe that's the one we need to see if Conor's ever going to get back into the championship contention conversation.
I think honestly, if you're Team McGregor, watching Tony Ferguson hurt Michael Chandler is just what you needed in order to go, we can really put this dude out. And because of Chandler's willingness to stand, maybe he gives Conor McGregor a chance to beat him. I do believe that'll happen.
Guys, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to MMA Library for all the latest MMA and UFC news today. We'll see you in the next video.